Good morning. Today is March 25th. It is 10 o'clock. Call to order. Eldon Callan.
Here.
Ed Hawkins.
Here.
Okay, at this time we'll have a moment of silent meditation and pledge to the flag. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we'll start with the three important words. Let's go Mountaineers, and then we'll start with consent and approval.
Okay, we have 18 exonerations, $10,037.06 for tax years 12, 13, and 14, and a correction of ticket number 301703. Orders of March 25, 2015, statement for services rendered for Armistead and Crane fiduciary commissioners, and there's also an order for changing the date of the Bossio hearing. General County vouchers, $233,318.49. General County Fund purchasing cards, $6,702.51. Coal Severance Fund, $9,657.53. Chestnut Ridge Park, $457.33. Mason-Dixon Park, $718. Assessor's Valuation Purchasing Card, $182.80. Magistrate Court Fund, $259.20. Home Confinement, $7,211.42. For a total of $257,796.46. And I have one budget revision. This is moving funds to the sewer account to pay for the Sunshine Estates sewer project that we approved.
What is the pleasure?
Does the Bossio hearing has to be separate?
Yes, it's right here.
I would do that.
Okay.
Accepting for setting the new date for the hearing on the Bossio estate, I'll move for approval.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes.
I would move that we set a hearing on the estate of Luigi Bossio, a.k.a. Louis Bossio, on April 8, 2015 at 11 a.m. here at the Commission office.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
It passes. Great. Okay. Let's go to Renette. Oh, no, sorry. We'll go to comments from the public. At this time, anyone can stand up. Please state your name, your address. This is not the public hearing for the levy rate. This is just public comment that can be stated on any issue. At this time, please stand up and state your name if anyone would like to speak at this time. Going once, going twice. Okay. No comments today? Great. Okay, Renetta, now we'll go to grants and how many thousands of dollars we're getting.
Morning.
Good morning.
I have several items for you today.
Okay.
The first is the special standard and special conditions and assurances for the VOCA grant that was submitted 3 weeks ago. The state has asked that we go ahead and sign these. These are, I've read them. They're the standard form that we have to do for all of our grants that come through the state. Just asking for the president's signature on that.
Move to approve and authorize the president to sign.
Second.
Been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It's signed.
Thank you.
Oh.
That's right. Okay, we have MAYSP was going to be, they have reached their funding amount limit on the JABG grant that we normally process for them. So they have decided to put their hat into the JJDP, which is the Juvenile Justice Delinquency Program. They're asking for an amount of $23,436 from the state for that, to fund that project. And of course, they have to have an entity of local government to support them. So we're going to co-sponsor that. We are not giving them any money for this, so this is solely from the state. So.
Pass their grant.
Yep.
Move to approve the grant from MAYSP.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, passes.
There is MOUs in there for DHHR, for probation, that the commission has to sign off on. And then we'll get signed copies back after they've been
Okay.
fully executed.
To actually do the file?
Yes. The last thing I have is the 2015-16 court security grant. And we are applying for $35,495. And this is for a walk-through scanner, metal detector for down at the Justice Center, and a hand scanner for the Justice Center.
Good.
Okay?
Does it have a resolution you have to read?
We have a resolution, and the resolution is actually for, just to certify that we actually have the manpower
Right.
to actually run the equipment that they're going to
Well, we got the
provide.
manpower.
Okay? So here's the application,
Okay.
and I will read the resolution. The Monongalia County Commission met on Wednesday, March 25th, 2015, with a quorum present and passed the following resolution. Be it resolved that the Monongalia County Commission hereby states that sufficient manpower, being the existing 16 full-time and 3 part-time court security officers who are part of the Monongalia County Sheriff's Department, will be used to operate and manage the equipment requested in this West Virginia Court Security Fund application.
Move to approve the resolution and authorize the president to sign the grant application.
Been properly moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes. I can sign it.
Last item I have is actually Senator Kent Leonhardt actually sent us the award letter. They had a presentation from the governor's office last week for the records preservation grant that we applied for the prosecutor, the sheriff's department, and the county clerk.
Great.
So just presenting that today. We've been
Okay.
approved for $18,431.
Great.
Okay?
You send a letter of thank you.
I will do that if you would like.
Yes, that would be
Okay.
nice.
We
All right. I will do
desperately
that.
need that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. It is only 10:08, and we're not ready for the public hearing at this time, so we'll move on. Correspondence.
I just have one letter from the Country Road Cyclists. They're just asking the commission for help in getting the roads repaired. Route 100 is commonly used for scenic bike rides, and that seems to be in very poor condition right now, so.
I would ask that we forward that on with our endorsement. I know 100 is very bad, to the director, Ray Ersch, and ask him for any assistance and thank him for his past assistance. Also, if he could allow us to let us know about where in the priority list, because I know they have priority lists, 100 might be, that would be helpful also. And I'd make that a motion.
Second.
It's properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. Any other correspondence? Okay, we'll move on to unfinished business. Does either of the commissioners want to bring anything as unfinished at this time or not yet? Okay.
I'll do the legislative stuff in the
Okay.
report.
Okay, new business. Review, consideration, and approval of the fiscal 2015-16 budget. And I want to say first, this was probably one of the most difficult budgets we had to make Diane do. So I want to thank you for spending, I know, many hours at night in here coming in and doing it. So you can take it from there. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a summary.
Okay.
3 pages. This is stating the amount with the small increase in the levy rate. We were allowed to do things that we've needed to do. This allows an increase for the sheriff's deputies that was proposed a few weeks ago, $4,000 increase that will bring them up to, I believe, 6th in the state. It also allows for funding in the tax office to be allowed to do online payments. It's basically bare bones. There's no frills. I had to move about $200,000 worth of organizations from coal severance into general county. We're expecting the revenues to be down in coal severance. So we have a total of both budgets to be $32,787,833.
The part of the moving of the coal severance, of course, was that we got back on track for the plan to increase the volunteer fire departments $1,000 each year. So this coal severance includes $4,000 for each of the fire departments. That was part of the plan I had when I came in, but when the property reappraisals hit, we had to cut everybody, which stalled that plan, as it did the deputies and a lot of other people. This budget actually, because there wasn't that large of an increase between last year and this year, basically this budget brings us up to where we should have been in terms of support and providing the essential services to this community. So I see everything that we've done here as an investment to make life better and better for all the citizens of Monongalia County.
And some of the organizations we didn't have an opportunity to bring in for a few questions that you had on their balance sheets and their financial statements. So it may show zero, but that doesn't mean necessarily that you're not going to get
We
it.
put it into aside.
Kind of on hold. So I'll be calling in probably about 10 agencies for further communication with them before the funds are actually available in July.
Okay.
And I would just add that that is an essential part that a lot of people don't understand, but I think we're starting to get the message out with the help of the media that this kind of commission is responsible for every penny that's spent. Just because we give it to some agency or group or fire department or whatever, we've got to know where that money went. And if we do not follow that money and know where it went and how it was spent, then we could be derelict of duty. So I know all three commissioners take it very seriously, as does our staff take it very seriously. And I thank Bobby, Diane, Renetta, and Jamie all for staying on top of things for us.
And to that end, I have scheduled the first of the meetings with the individual fire departments that I'll be speaking to, and I volunteered to do so.
Okay.
Thank you.
As Diane said, the revenue, I want to say one thing in the summary, which is in the first paragraph, which I think is very important, that the amount in addition to the other general receipts provided a current proposed budget of $31,646,833. Last year, the budget was $32,172,738. So I wanted to get that clear, that it is lower than last year's, and we're trying to improve many of the programs that we're offering. I also want to say that I want to thank the Dominion Post in today's editorial. Levy rate in need of improvement. It states that we agree with the county commission. The smart use of tax dollars also attracts more investment and employers to this county that generate even more dollars for everyone, including revenue. But the one paragraph that I'm very excited that I know Eldon's going to be thrilled to read is that there was no windfall. The commission's budget remained revenue neutral, while Morgantown's and the Board of Education rates and share did not. So I really want to thank the Dominion Post. They've been on us, but they monitored, watched all the kind of decision making that the three of us had to make. So at this time, is there a motion to approve?
I'd move to approve the levy budget and forward it to the state.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Okay, we can move it forward at this time. Thank you. Okay. Is there any other new business? Seeing none? Okay, we have reports from any elected officials. Any elected officials?
I'd like to report that I had nothing.
Okay. As long as you get in the paper and make sure people know that, that's important. Okay. Are there any administrative office personnel? Okay. Then we're going to move forward. Okay, reports from county commissioners. Mr. Cowan? Well, wait, you went last time. Let me go. Do you have any?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Was able to attend yesterday the first ever regional economic summit. Very informative with what's going on. This is partnered by all three chambers. It was Monongalia County, Marion County, and Harrison County. and each one, there was an aerospace, an education, technology, healthcare, and energy panel presented, and very good information about what's going on in our area. Also, I don't believe I was the only person at the MPO from the commission, so let's at least announce that the Green Bag study report was given. The I-79 access study, the consultant was selected, and there was another, University Avenue, its Complete Streets study, its consultant was selected as well. So these are studies, of course, but that means that there is progress moving forward on our roads. Also, lastly, this Friday, if you want to join me, I'll be at the Ham, Bacon, and Egg Sale at Ramada Inn at 6 o'clock for 4-H and FFA.
Bring your checkbook.
Always bring your checkbook.
Is that what, don't you tell them that?
Yes. Okay.
That's very good. Okay, I guess we got a little time.
Yes, we do. For about 14 minutes.
All right. Okay, good chunk
Minus 10. Yeah. Get ready with it.
All right, I wanted to run down the legislative priorities for the county commissions, not only our county, but throughout the county. Some of our priorities and what took place with them. One of the, and this is directly out of the County Commissioners Association, our priority list. One of the things was there was, as could be imagined, a question about prevailing wage. It being not being properly calculated. They weren't opposed to prevailing wage. We weren't opposed to prevailing wage. We supported the idea of having a prevailing wage. We just believed that the way it was calculated statewide did not properly reflect the wages in different areas. That bill actually ended up and was passed. We also opposed any attempt to take, remove, or lessen County 911 revenues for use in any other purpose. We had a bill that supported that, and it related to the State Interoperable Radio, Statewide Interoperable Radio Network Act. And we had a bill that we wanted to, whereby Homeland Security would operate that. That would ensure that our cellular 911 fees would not be diminished or go away. While that bill had traction and looked very good, the state police came in with a bill wanting to yank all that and possibly yank a bunch of 911 funds away from the counties into the state police department. We were able to get the other bill killed, but in the process of getting the state police bill killed, our bill died. And it is, so that issue is still hanging out there. I think the governor's office is leaning towards possibly doing, I heard, just doing an executive order and possibly pooling cellular 911 fees from us to the state police. I hope he doesn't do that, but that's still hanging out there, so we weren't able to get that done. I'm going to jump through a couple of things here. There's been a procedure that was the salary mechanism for increasing county officials. There was this had been offered up for the last 3 or 4 years, and we didn't think it was going to go anyplace. I didn't think it was going to go anyplace because no one ever touched it. Well, surprisingly, the Republican leadership really liked the bill, and they grabbed onto the bill. Now, what this does, it allows county commissions to give rate increases if the budget allows it for elected officials each year. It's really not discretionary. It doesn't. It's either given to all or not to none. There's no way you could manipulate it or use it. Who it really helps is the sheriffs, because the sheriffs with 8 year, they only can serve 8 years. Well, it's 8 years between salary increases. So the sheriffs work for 8 years to get a salary increase that they don't get to enjoy. Al got caught in that dilemma. He gets maybe 1 year of it. That's about it. That's just not right. So by establishing a salary mechanism and procedure that would allow for a rate increase up to 3%, when the Republicans got excited about it, we said, sure, we tried to support it. The county clerks banded together and killed it. And they killed it on the basis of saying that would make county commissioners their boss. Well, that's so far from the truth, but that scared a lot of the senators off, and they dropped it. But that was killed by the county clerks because they don't want the county commission to. They said they don't want the county commission to control them. Well, we don't control them other than issue our orders any more than we could circuit clerk. Everyone's elected official and we're all equal, but that's what happened to that bill, so that died. We also were looking to get some legislation. There was a homestead exemption increase amendment bill. Monongalia County, we're sort of in a strange position here because, as I said before, the Monongalia County, we have a lot of homes that are worth a lot of money to older fixed income people, but they're worth a lot of money because of WVU, not because they're able to sell them. So I've always encourage an increase of the homestead exemption, and I talked about that based on need. After the first 20,000, then you could apply much as you apply for an exoneration or the homestead exemption now. You would apply based on a need, and then the assessor could grant that with the final approval of the commission. I offered that. The House passed a homestead exemption bill to increase it to 40,000 across the board. Our estimates were that at least 5 counties would go bankrupt. They just could not pay their bills. They'd go belly up. They couldn't even support the basic elected offices if that went through. So anyway, that died over in the Senate. One of the other things we wanted was a lot of hotels, especially in the gas and water or gas and oil counties. They have seen a drastic drop in their hotel and motel tax because the gas and oil people are renting for more than 30 days. They come in and rent for 30 days, and if you rent for more than 30 days, you don't have to pay the hotel motel tax, which means their Convention and Visitors Bureau and their tourist efforts and a lot of other efforts that's supported by that tax was crashing and burned. That got tied up. That hotel motel tax got tied up with the indoor smoking policy, and why they tied it together, I don't know, but those two things got tied up, and they were trying to get that all smoking ordinance had to be approved by the county commission. The long and short of that is that crashed and burned. There's a number of other things that we've talked about in the past that I'd be happy to discuss further with anyone that would be interested. One of the things that I want to point out with the governor's veto of, I should say line item veto of the budget. I think it was objection 23. I forgot to print it out. I don't have it in front of me. Anyway, he pointed out in one of the objections where he cut education assessment. I think it was a balance assessment line item. He cut that line item out, and as the reason why he cut that line item out was because he wanted pilot agreements to be included, and we got that pilot agreement stopped. Therefore, I predict that next year that issue is going to be back on the table because he cited that as a reason for some of his cuts to the budget. I got to say, however, that he's probably done one of the most detailed analysis of the budget that I've ever seen a governor do. I mean, he looked very, very closely. I'm sure he's supported by his staff, like we're supported by our staff. But he has a view, and he followed it. I really think that in closing this report, I think we need to follow up with the school board and propose specific legislation to protect pilot agreements, much like we did with the TIF, where there's deficiencies in the laws and there aren't proper protections. That's what was so important about the TIF bill we got passed. So I would open it up for any questions either commissioners have or comments, but I would like to see us do something on the pilot with an actual bill.
I concur.
That was one of the issues that we had discussed when we met. I would also like to consider the other option, which is that the other 8 counties basically decided to put it on the front end so that the lease was heavier than the actual pilot agreement on the distribution, thereby saving the funds here. So that's another option I'd like to consider, because I'm just concerned if the majority of the counties say, hey, wait, that money's available, he's either going to take more from us or let's take it from Mon County. I think the majority of the counties this time are going to say take it from Mon County. So that's, I think, the two issues. I think we both should do both of those and see what happens. I agree with you, and I thank you for that report. Is there anything else you wanted to comment on this report? Okay. Real quickly, before we can then get started, the recycling report went very well. I think we finally, Jamie and I were there, I think we finally have it down to a science. Most people stayed no longer than 30 to 45 seconds. I now have a group from Morgantown High School students that are now signing up and volunteering for the program, so I really want to say that is fantastic. Also, I want the commissioners to know I've been asked to speak tomorrow morning at the Board of Health about the recycling. So as long as there's no problem with that, I'm just going to give them a report. I do have to say this, though. I'm a little disappointed in the open communications with the Solid Waste Authority. I thought even though they are, quote, defunct or not defunct, they're really still running, but it did bother me that I read in the paper, Charleston paper, that they are selling their equipment, and again, we are totally out of the loop. And it's just the frustration of not having communication as we move forward. And again, this is just one more thing that is very frustrating for me, and I'm sure the three of us, because we're trying to open up the doors.
I am scheduled to go to their meeting on
yes,
Monday.
And if you could just pass that on, that we would like to try and keep an open communication if they're still wanting to talk to us.
If I may,
yeah,
it sounded like in the article they were selling it on the cheap.
Oh,
Because
enormous.
Charleston that didn't, or Kanawha County that didn't have the money, were trying to figure out to go out and borrow the money because they said the best deal they ever seen on this kind of equipment.
Oh yeah, so
that's kind of scary that they're just dumping the equipment.
They're definitely having a fire sale. So I mean, and so we could see that. A little side note: I was coaching tennis, and this car stopped and yelled, "Hey, you, the recycling guy!" And so I've been called a lot of things. So he called me Mr. Recycling and the recycling guy. So it is still working. So I thought that was pretty good. One other thing I did want to tell you. Yesterday, in talking with a number of the people downtown and the workers, I came up with an idea outside the box. I went down the main street, Morgantown, and I'm hoping that we're going to start a joint collaboration effort of basically an express lunch program. What we have is between 500 and 1,000 people who work downtown who, because when we're going to move to the judicial building, will not have the time to leave their office. So what I proposed to Main Street Morgantown was the possibility, and I already had three places, establishments already interested, where we would start an actual, Main Street Morgantown would have like a catalog of the 20 different restaurants that might have 5 to 7 opportunity dishes of lunch dishes where you could call in less than 10 or 15 minutes. The people would come down and bring them the lunch. So you wouldn't just have just fast food. So they like the idea. Several of the places that offer food like the idea. I also thought in this way we would not only increase the business for them, but also they'd have to hire some more part-time people. So it's just one more thing for working and bringing businesses downtown, and something we were able to offer. So I've called it the joint collaboration effort between the Commission and Main Street Morgantown, and they're going to look into that possibility of what I will call the Express Lunch Program. So hopefully, that will help out the people, and when we open up when we open up the judicial building down there. That is it. We're now ready to have our public hearing to consider a proposed increase in the 9/11 landline fee. What I'm asking for any person who would like to speak to state their name, their address, and you will have 3 minutes to address this. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone who would like to speak to it? Wow. No one.
I was going to say, Mike.
I'll
you're
wait
not gonna
another
say
15
anything?
seconds just in case, okay? I don't see anyone.
Mike did a presentation there. I don't know if he wants to go over it, but
Yeah.
everybody's happy.
Yeah, if no one is, you want to do just a Cliff Notes version of it.
Sure. Well, and I'll answer a question that was going around.
Yes.
Something we need to consider with the $3 increases.
Okay.
Since we do not have a difference between residential and business.
Right.
One, businesses that has more than 8 lines, it's called Centrex, they pay for 1 through 8. Any lines more than 8 currently right now is 16 cents per line. It's typical for a county to use 1/8 of whatever the set landline fee is. So, I would ask that.
Is that part of your proposal?
Yeah, is to.
It's included in the proposal, so that's what the confusion was, you said?
That was one of the questions that came about was,
Okay.
what those extra 8 or what after number 8.
Right.
Businesses, the hospitals.
So
et cetera.
so instead of 16 cents, that is what did you say?
1/8 of whatever the.
1/8.
1/8 of the $3.
So the
Right.
additional will be 1/8.
Right.
So do they pay $3 on each one of the first 8?
Correct.
And then
And then 1/8
and then
on-
1/8 of $3 for any more
Okay.
than after that.
Okay. Well, seeing that no one else wants to speak, close this meeting. How would the commission like to move forward on?
What do we do with this at this point?
Can we adopt it today, right?
Think about it. You have up to 60 days, I believe, to make a decision, or you can do it today.
Once it's adopted, then obviously we'll need to send the resolution to the PSC and then have them make necessary.
Well, it's a fee on use, and basically it helps support our budget. We know that we have to do all those improvements. We have to pay for them up front. One of the suggestions last week was that we take that $700,000 that we have to spend to upgrade for you all and bond it. But I did some figuring over the last week on a lot of things, and actually it doesn't. The administrative cost of running the bond on $700,000 would jack the rates up to an unreasonable amount, because we have bonds, you have to have bond attorney, you have to have trustees, you have all that. So I took everything to heart, and I looked at it very seriously. So we included that in the budget, and this is merely to pay the county taxpayers back for that. So I would move we approve the new rate schedule for 911 landlines.
Second?
It's been properly moved and second to raise the rates, increase the landline fee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Passes 3-0. Okay, at this time, we have everything done. We will I need a motion to go in executive session under West Virginia Code 6-9A-4.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are now into executive session.
Move to come out of executive session.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're now in regular session. Do I have a motion for
Move to
adjourn?
adjourn.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second to adjourn. How does everyone feel?
Aye.
No, it passes. Okay, we're in adjournment till next week.